all, this is Mr. G, and this is our warm-up for today's lesson. So pause the video right here, give this problem a shot, come back when you think you have an answer. We're going over 3, 2, 1, let's go. So solve the system with a graphing calculator, which means we're going to be able to get this done a lot faster than we would if we had to solve it by hand, by just using pencil and paper. So there's two methods we can use whenever we use matrices. There's essentially the one where we set up an equation where it's like our matrix A times our variables, X, Y, Z, equals matrix B, and then we solve it from there. That's our first method. Let me slide that over a little bit. Let's just put it down here. That works. And then there's the RREF method. So just using RREF of matrix A. Now, I really prefer doing it with the equation because that sort of makes sense to me. I really prefer it this way. So that's the first way I'm going to show, but I will show both just so we get some experience with both of these. So if we're going to do this matrix with the first method, matrix A is going to be the coefficients of our variables. So I'm going to go to second, matrix, then move over to edit, and then hit A. And now I want this to be a 3 by 3, 3 by 3, 3 rows and 3 columns. So let me see, going across on that first line right here, it's 2, 1, -1, just the coefficient. So 2, 1, oh, that 1 didn't go through, 1, -1. Let me double check that one more time. 2, 1, -1, 2, 1, -1, good. And then it's 1, -3, 2, just getting that from the coefficients we see right there in the second equation. And last but not least, we have 1, 1, 1, because for the last equation, it's just 1x plus 1y plus 1z, just using the coefficients for matrix A. So matrix A is done. Let me double check the numbers one more time. I like to check them vertically going the other one. So the first column should be 2, 1, 1, good. The middle column is 1, -3, 1, and the last column is -1, 2, +1. Okay, so far so good. Now I'm going to hit second quit and go back into my matrix menu, because matrix B is right there. That's matrix B whenever we use this method. So second matrix, I go to edit, and we leave A alone because we want A in there. I'm going to go down and change matrix B. Now we want this to be a 3 by 1, 3 rows and 1 column. So I'm just going to hit enter for 1 column because that's good. And then it's 0, 16, and 7. And there we go. So one more time, 0, 16, 7, 0, 16, 7. Excellent. Now, all we have to do, remember, now the reason I like this method is because we can sort of think our way through it. It makes sense. Okay, we're trying to get our variables here by itself. So to do that, we need the inverse operation. We need the inverse of A to do it. So all we're going to type in is, in our calculator, which we'll see right here, is, actually, let me write it out. It's going to be the inverse of A times matrix B, and that'll give us our answer. So that's what we do. Second matrix, matrix A. So just click on that. I don't go over to edit that time because we don't want to edit it. We want to bring it out. And then the inverse button is actually the matrix button, and we just don't have to hit second. Remember that it looks like to a power of -1, but the calculator reads that as the inverse. So this is the inverse of matrix A times matrix B. So second matrix, I go get matrix B. Now moving over to edit, just where it says names. Pull that out, and we hit enter. And we get 3, -1, 5. So x equals 3, y equals -1, and z equals 5. And we're all done. Hopefully you were able to do that a lot faster on your own without sort of me talking my whole way through. You just click all the buttons and get through it. All right, so that's getting your answer the first way. Now the second method, the RREF method, I'll show you how to do that real quick. So second matrix, we only need one matrix to do this. So I'm going to go down to edit, and I'm going to edit A. Now, here we want it to be a 3 by 4. We're going to enter the entire 3 by 4. We're going to enter the entire system. Let me go back. This whole system is going to be one matrix, one table. So we're sort of combining matrix A and matrix B from our first method. So the first matrix, or rather the first row, will be 2, 1, -1, which we already have in there. But then we add in a 0, because that's what the answer is for that first equation. Then it's a 1, -3, 2, and 16. Enter. And then 1, 1, 1, and 7. 7, enter, and there we go. Now we hit second quit. Now for the RREF method, that's what we have to do. We got to find the RREF function, or operation, I guess we could say. So under math, so second matrix, to get to the matrix menu, go to math. I'm going to hit up to get to RREF a little bit quicker. Click enter. Now we have to go grab our matrix, second matrix. We want matrix A. I hit enter. Enter one more time. And remember, you have to be really careful that you see those first three rows and columns are a 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, and 0, 0, 1. You have to see that. Otherwise, that means something went wrong. You entered a wrong number, or there's no unique solution or something weird like that. But here we get the same answer in that last column, 3, -1, 5. So there's showing two ways to get the same answer. Let's take a look at our objective. Today we're doing chapter 3, section 6, and after today we should be able to solve 4 variable systems with matrices. So we're sort of taking a step into a new type of system here. Instead of just 3 variables and 3 equations, we're going to have 4 variables and 4 equations. Now, I want to take a second and think about what a nightmare this would be if we had to actually do this by hand, if we had to do this with pencil and paper. I mean, the first thing we have to do is, okay, what variable do we want to get rid of first? So let's say we wanted to get rid of maybe, I don't know, z or y, probably y, I guess. So to eliminate the y's, we have to think, okay, let's pick 2 to eliminate. So if we combine, let's see, the first and the third, then that positive 2y and the negative 2y will cancel out. And that would leave us with an equation with w, x, and z. So we've only eliminated one variable. So then we have to do that 3 more times to get just 2 more times, a total of 3 times to get 3 individual equations with 3 different variables. And then we'd still have to do our 3 variable solution. So I think there's a faster way to do it using matrices, because basically, if you're good at using a matrix, this is essentially the exact same thing. We just add 1 more row and 1 more column. So I'm going to do this with both methods. So students who prefer method 1 and method 2 can get both. Can get a sort of example of how to do this with both. I'm going to use the inverse method first. So remember, this is when we want A inverse times B, or the inverse of A times B. First, we got to set up our matrices. So second matrix, I'm going to go to edit and edit A. Now A, remember, is the coefficients, A is a matrix of the coefficients. That's probably a better way to say it. So we want this to be a 4 by 4 this time. So 4 by 4, I already have a 4 there, so I just hit enter. And now let's see, reading from the top, going across, I see a coefficient of 1, -1, 2, 1. Again, just so everyone's clear, I got that from those top coefficients. Now we're going to do the second equation, which is 3, -2, -1, and +2. I'm going to double check all of these before I finish. Scroll down one more time. -1, 3, -2, and -1. Oh, geez, what happened? Of course, I made a mistake. Second matrix. All right, now I got to go to edit. I must have hit something wrong. Okay, so it's 4 by 4. Did this column go, or this row go correctly? 3, -2, -1, 2. Okay. I'm not sure what I did wrong. All right, so it's -1, 3, -2, and -1. Hopefully you watching the video. Maybe you saw like what button I hit incorrectly, but I missed it. Maybe it's easier to see on the video. And then last but not least, it's 2, 1, 1, and 3. Now, especially with that matrix mistake, I want to really double check and make sure I check vertically. So first, let's check the z's. That should be 1, 2, -1, 3. All good. Now we're going to check the y's. It's 2, -1, -2, +1. Good. Check the x's. That's a -1, -2, +3, 1. And last but not least, the w's. It's 1, 3, -1, +2. So we're all good. Now I'm going to go to second quit. Now we need matrix B. And matrix B, hopefully we know, is right there. It's everything on the right side of the equal sign. Second matrix, I'm going to go to edit because I want to enter new values. I go down to B, hit enter. And we don't want this to be a 3 by 4 anymore. We need it to be a 4 by 1. 4 rows and 1 column. So we're just going to hit enter to get to verify that 1 column. I think you can also hit down there, but whatever, as long as you get to it. So it's 10, enter, 1, enter, -4, enter, and 21, enter. Let's double check that one more time. 10, 1, -4, 21. Very good. And now we're ready to use our inverse method that we talked about in the last video. Inverse of A times B. That's all we have to do. So second matrix, we'll go grab matrix A and hit the inverse button times second matrix. Let's go grab matrix B, hit enter, and we get our answer of 1, 3, 4, 4. So that means, oh, what was the first one? W equals 1, X equals 3, Y equals 4, and Z also equals 4. And we are all done. That's the answer. Now, I will show you how to do this using the RREF method. It's essentially the same thing as before, but in case anyone wants to see it, I'll run through it real quick. So remember, hit second matrix, go to edit. We only need one here, so I'll edit A. Now, using the RREF method, we want the entire system, the coefficients and the constants on the right side, we want them to all be a part of the same matrix. So we need this to be a 4 by 5. So 4 by 5. We need to add another, not another row, but another column. Now, since I already entered matrix A, a lot of this is going to be the same. So I'm just going to scroll all the way over to that last column and enter the constants of 10, 1, -4, and 21. So 10, now I'm going to hit down, and that should work. Very good. 1, hit down, -4, hit down, and 21. And we just hit enter, and that should work. Let me double check one more time. 10, 1, -4, 21. Very good. Second, quit. Now we just go get the RREF command, or operation, I guess I should say. So second matrix, go to math. I like to hit up to get there a little faster. Like I said earlier, hit enter to get RREF. Second matrix, let's grab matrix A, hit enter, and there we go. First, let's make sure we have the zeros and the 1. We got a nice diagonal line of 1s, and the rest are zeros in the first 4 columns this time. And then we have the same, we have the answers in the final column. What is that, the 5th column? There you go. So that's W equals 1, X equals 3, Y equals 4, and 4. So the same answer we got using the inverse method, the one I prefer. But, however you want to do it, that's totally fine. So the point of this video was to really show the power of the graphing calculator and these matrices. Not only does it let us solve 3 variable systems like so much faster than we could ever do it by hand, but it lets us solve things that would be like, what are the odds of us solving this by hand and actually getting the correct answer? All the little places we can make like a little multiplication or addition or sign mistake. In the calculator, if we're good at it, it just does it for us, as long as we know what to do, as long as we're good at either one of these methods. Hopefully that all makes sense. If you have any questions, reach out to me. As always, enjoy the rest of your day.